This is Turles, a town where some of the top digital games companies are attending a games Fleadh to scout the next generation of game designers. The festival is a great place for young designers to showcase their work and receive feedback from both their peers and industry professionals. The event will be held at the LIT College, one of the only campus in the country specialising in software engineering and game design courses. By attending this event, a better understanding of the game scene within Ireland can be achieved, and we can explore why this industry is on the rise. The industry is set to grow globally to £84.2 billion by 2015, causing the workforce in Ireland to double.
My name is Philip Burke and I run Games Fleadh. Well, it started over 10 years ago, and it really started as a programming challenge. We started off this thing called Robocode. And basically that was a first year programming challenge for basically talented first years to write intelligent tanks that battled each other. And I suppose the inspiration behind that was really to give the students something to be or challenge themselves with while you worked with the students that were kind of just getting into programming. So it was a really good way for challenge students essentially. And then that grew and grew, and we added things like the Game Studio Ireland Challenge, the DirectX Challenge, the Expo, the Games Pro Talks. Actually, a new addition this year is actually Gamescraft.
I started Gamecraft with Andrea, who was actually participating today. It was all about bringing like-minded people together. With no handicaps whatsoever. It's open to everyone. We had kids as young as 9 participating, right up to professionals from Swerve, where it was adults, and it was basically it's all about people coming together, learning, even if they're trying out new technologies and meeting other people, networking, especially people working in companies and games companies or doing projects at college. They're always by themselves, and this will be an opportunity for everyone to come out and actually enjoy themselves. And if they make a game at the end of the day, that's fantastic. And it's definitely not about prizes. It's all about coming together and having fun and learning new experiences.
So I'm Andrew from Backcat Games. We're a games company that started this event, which is called Gamecraft, as a way of getting all the game programmers in Ireland together in a room, which is great from the perspective of just having fun and jamming and making a game in 7 hours today or 12 hours or whatever it happens to be. But from a networking point of view, it's a fantastic opportunity. Getting people all together and getting them in, when there's a buzz in the room and the atmosphere is going is great, because you learn a lot about the people you're potentially wanting to hire, basically.
So I get experience here, meet some cool people, and you never know. Somebody might know somebody who might know somebody. Go, oh yeah, that was that dude down in Turles. Oh yeah, I remember him. And it's been an interesting experience. I've been asked to make sounds like demonic hamsters from car screams. Actually, we're just discussing there about this piece of equipment I have, and I needed a sound of a toilet flush, so I went upstairs and recorded the toilet flush. It's for the game, by the way. I don't go around generally in toilets recording toilet sounds. That's just mad. It's for a game, okay? Just so we clear that up. And also as well, actually, we're looking for a sound of like ripping tape. So there was a painter there, and I said, hey, do you have any tape on you? It's like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, thanks, I'll be back in a minute. And I actually recorded me ripping tape as well. It is for the game too, by the way. So I have like loads of mad sound effects from today, And I've just made up a piece from my machines here, which I'm editing now at the moment. It's just a 1 minute piece, so they can be looped, to the game. And that's kind of how it works. So when you're making sound for games, it's all like little minute loops, and then when you put them together, you have a song, right? So it's kind of just saved the space. So actually that's how it kind of works. It's kind of cool,
My name is Dave McCabe. I'm a narrative designer. I live in Dublin at the moment. What a narrative designer does is it's a combination of games designer and just story writer. So as well as kind of creating the actual story of the game, we create the mechanics so that the two kind of merge together, and so you don't have games where the story just clashes with the activities inside it. Say for example Red Dead Redemption, wherein John Morrison's looking for his wife and kid, but he makes all this time to go pick flowers and to chase down wolves and all this stuff that just does not mesh with the actual story of the game. So it's the job of someone like myself to actually make certain that the side quests in a game and that the main story all ties in with the mechanics of the actual game itself. And I teach that across the country as well. So the reason I want to get involved, the reason I've been involved with the Gamecraft stuff is that I generally am happy to shout at a room full of strangers, but I like organising stuff. I like being involved in it. I like kind of pushing people beyond their. I like coming up with the themes of the events and kind of pushing people beyond just kind of making platform games or stuff they would normally be making at kind of jams like this. And it's kind of useful that I can kind of try to push my students to go along to these things and get involved and show them how much they can actually make in a day and get them talking to industry people and that kind of thing.
Earth is dying. We're doing 4 elements. We're doing earth, fire, water.
How you coming on?
Pretty well. Yeah, we're getting places.
You ready to show me?
We do.
Oh, now I'm into it. There's a shooting tree. I'm in.
And a seagull.
A seagull that drops
What looks like a bathtub.
what look like eggs.
That is such an eclectic range of things that attack you.
You have to pick up bananas for. If you pick up bananas, you get missiles as well.
Game developers in Northern Ireland are quite lucky, as far as I understand it, because Northern Ireland Screen, which is a funder of TV and films, also supports new media and interactive media such as games through their funding. And we don't have a similar body down south who does something like that. At the same time, the BAFTAs, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, also has award categories for games, game story, game design, game development. So it's supported a lot more by the governments and by the kind of arts bodies over there and in Northern Ireland and in England, which is great. It's a lot more recognition. There's more funding. And that's something that I'm very envious of from down south.
Well, I think what we're experiencing now is a critical mass as regards education and people understanding how to develop, design good games. And I think that is expressed best by, let's say, the awards last night, the Engineers Ireland Game Developer Awards, where literally the number of nominees doubled in just from last year to this year. The number of studios nominated and the number of games nominated actually doubled in 1 year. So that's where you're kind of seeing the critical effect of what all the educational institutions around the country are doing as regards games design development, and you're seeing the actual throughput or output from that now.
My name is Kevin Daly and I'm doing software year 4 in IT Sligo. So basically I'd say I came from a games development course in IT Sligo as well and moved into the software. So I've 3 years games development and a year of software development. Games like Final Fantasy VII, Crash Bandicoot, all of those games, their music made me love games. So I originally came into the games development course to write music for games, but I kind of got sucked into programming as well. So I'm in love with programming as well as writing music now as well. So it's kind of handy in that respect as well, that if you have multiple talents like graphics or audio or story writing, when you're making games, you can just bring other skills that you have aside from programming into it. Because I think most of the courses, anyway, mine is focused on programming specifically, so it was nice for me to have some extra skills that I could bring to the table.
Making games is difficult, writing programs and learning all these things, but when you get into it, it's easier. It's getting easier and easier. And then my interest was, I thought the course is designing games, so I'm a bit in art. I like graphics. And I thought we are going to do some graphics, some art. For our game, I made all art. Always you are going to get criticized by people, and then by that you can learn from them so much, so you can go and fix those things, so next time they'll come back and see those things are fixed.
I'm David Moriarty and that's Padraig O'Connor. We're studying game design here in LIT, and we had a team for GameStar and we call ourselves Team Retribution. And we made a game called Neon Tank. We ended up winning a Best Windows 8 game. Game design itself is bigger than the music industry, last I heard anyways, and in Ireland it's getting a lot bigger. So I see it in the next 5 or 10 years it's going to be very big as well.
I think an interesting factor figure is that we're the first generation, well, probably the second generation to grow up with video games as a thing all the time. It's not just this new thing, it's kind of been a part of our lives all the time. But we are the first generation to grow up with the internet.
Yeah.
So I think that actually makes us, as designers, a unique perspective, in the same way that, say, Spielberg, Lucas, and Francis Ford Coppola were the first of people who loved films from an early age, and then said, okay, I want to make films. Okay, I want to make games. Oh, I have access to all this lovely knowledge and internet. So I think from a development standpoint, that makes us very unique, and hopefully will have us in a high regard later on.
So my name's Alan Duggan, and I'm CEO and founder of Tribal City. When I started back in about 2002, I spent a couple of years trying to get something off the ground myself, which was quite difficult at the time because nobody was interested in games in Ireland. Anyone that was doing anything games related, like Havoc, Demonware had just started at the time as well. It was all tech, it was middleware, and nobody was interested in doing content. So to actually get started, I started to focus more around the social interactions. This is even pre-Facebook, so it wasn't even called social. We called it community-based gaming at the time. But it was the whole notion of, your phone is such a personal device. You use it every day to interact with people, so why would your gaming experience be any different? You'd expect it to be connected, you'd expect it to involve your friends. And really that's what Nathan Games came out of. We tried to do what are now called social games on mobile.
I actually think Ireland has, what separates is that we have a great community. I actually can't say that in the UK, which is where I've been the most about talking to developers from like London, they seem to have a good community, but here seems to be more tight-knit, and we all try to help each other, maybe a little bit more, but it could have been just a very high-level view of their community. So, I don't know, not much. I think all game developers are in it for the love of it, so that makes it a good community to be in. I started my kind of career as a commercial software developer 10 years ago, and I realized that the only way to grow as a developer was to talk a lot to community, to meet up with other people that do the same and learn from them, and then they learn from you. And so since that, since I realized that, I started going to everything I could, and if there wasn't a group for it, I created one. So that's how DublinOut.net was born. And then we did a few hacking kind of events, and they felt really good. And then, like a year and a half or 2 years ago, we decided to start Bucket Games. And just about then, we did the first Gamecraft. And it was great. Like, a lot of people turned up, and they were really, really excited. And it really felt like something that needed to be encouraged and fostered. I think we're at a crucial time. There's a lot of small companies popping up all the time, and there's also a few big ones, like Digit Games or even the fact that Riot Games came over to Ireland. So I think we're going to see more games and more quality, and I'm looking forward to that.
One games development company starting off in Ireland are Atom Split Games. A team comprised of 5 professionals, the company is centred on the creation and promotion of high-quality Irish-led games.
Hey, how's it going? Come on in. Hey, we're Atom Split Games, Irish-based games company. Let's introduce you to the team. So here we have Dave. He does social media, and he's in charge of the story and handles all the video editing for everything that goes onto our media sites.
Hello.
We have Eugene, our artist. He handles all the art. Every single bit of it.
All of it.
We have David Larkin. He handles our project management and programming. And we have Martel, who handles all our technical stuff. So anything that needs to be made from scratch through programming, Martel can make it. And I'm the boss. So we got started last year in May. We just finished college. We said, hey, let's start a games company. So 4 of us met up, and then since then we've been growing our numbers. So we've grown from 4 to 9 in the last year. So what's cool about being an Irish developer is we've kind of access to really good creative minds, and we can give things an Irish perspective to our games. So things like we do voice narration, we can do an Irish voice on it, and things like that really sell well to American audiences. And especially being an Irish company in the current climate, everything's export based, so it's kind of good from a business sense as well, so it makes sense.
For any game you need lots of concepts, so you generally just start off by doing as many different types of styles as you possibly can, and as many different angles of different things, picking out the best one at the end of the day and having a look and see which one works best for the film. Then you can go ahead and do more into that particular style and polish it up. Some concept drawings for one of our main characters, Jackson. At the moment we were kind of trying to decide on which type of style to go with or what kind of look he would have. So here he looks kind of like older in his teens kind of thing, but really what we're aiming for is a younger Jackson. So we developed that further, and now we have him looking slightly younger and hopefully better.
I'm actually the most recent hire to the company. My duties involve project management, and I also do programming along with James and Martel. So project management is actually pretty important in the process. It's just trying to keep everything running as efficiently as possible and keeping time on everything, making sure tasks are broken down into the most granular possible miniature tasks you can, so that everybody knows what they're doing and everybody knows what everybody else is doing.
I'm the Chief Technical Officer here at Fleadh Games. That basically means that I'm over all the technologies that we use between the artists and the programmers, and if there's anything that we don't have, then we have to create it.
I'm Dave, and I'm the community manager here at Fleadh Games. So my job really is to keep everybody up to date with what's going on. So if you have any updates that we want to tell people, when the game is going to be released, anything like that, I handle all that, and I do advertising as well. So here I have the trailer for Jackson and Fia.
My name's Owen. I'm one of the founders and game designers in Bitsmith Games. We're a small game development studio based in Dublin, and we've released our first game recently, which is called Coup Shroud of the Morrigan. It's an action RPG, a little bit like the old Zelda games, but it's based on the ancient Irish legends of Cuchulainn and the Morrigan and stuff like that. I was always interested in making games, but when I was younger, making games was very hard. When I first cracked open the editor for Doom or for Quake or for any of the stuff like that, I was just completely overwhelmed by the technical challenge of learning these tools. I just never managed to get my head around it. Then when technology started to emerge like Flash, it suddenly became incredibly easy to make games. And then the Unreal Engine made it easier again, and the tool that we use mostly is called Unity, and you can pick up Unity in an afternoon and be making environments or games or whatever you want very, very quickly. In terms of the Irish industry, I would love to see a large developer move to Ireland. I'd love to see either side of the border tax incentives put in place that would draw a large studio in here, so we could get that international expertise in place. We have dozens of really great small indie companies right now, and I just hope that some of them can find enough of an international audience to be able to keep doing what they're doing and keep making games. If those two things happen, I'll be very, very happy.
With Ireland's dynamic range of talent base and sheer enthusiasm, an environment conducive to growth and prosperity develops. This up-and-coming industry couldn't have arrived at a better time, especially considering the country's current economic climate. The trade body Games Ireland predicts that Ireland will be the best place to develop games by 2016, with 4,500 people employed in the sector by 2015. Indeed, this envisionment can very much become a reality, granted that the industry is continually nurtured by these committed and inspired people.